So now I'm going to show the concept of hyperprototyping. So what we're going to do is once we have this navigational structure down, we're going to go into edit the course again. And you'll notice under schedule builder you can rebuild dates, which actually just modifies the date values, but we can do rebuild schedule as topics, and then under forming weeks there's the build from prototype lesson / course option. So first I'm going to actually structure my course in a way that will best utilize that. So I'm going to open this up and quiz under there, and then we're going to delete unit 1. Okay, so this is actually, if you think of this in the scheduling context, this is more of the week here, if you will. So, where I had before on the edit course page, let's open that up in the background so you can see what I'm talking about mapping here. So we'll go down to schedule to build. I'm going to make a week-based schedule, and we'll do a define structure below. So I'm essentially structuring a prototype lesson. I'm going to lay out the content and the pages and things like that. So instead of activity, maybe this is chapter 1 practices. So maybe I'm structuring pages under there. This matches our own internal workflow for development practices, which is why we've structured it this way. But so let's say I have that, and remember this right here, this second level, we're going to map to what the week structure is. So I've got this laid out the way I want. We can verify that it looks correct by clicking back. You see I have lesson 1. I have this right here. Okay. So I have this old schedule that I don't really like. So let's click edit, and we're going to rapidly redesign what the scheduling of the course is for pacing purposes. So manual entry, let's pick the same start and end date there. And then forming the structure, let's do it build from prototype lesson / course. Okay, so everything else is kept the same in here. And let's save and see what this looks like. So it's going to create the weeks. It knows we have 10 weeks based on the schedule we picked, and then it knows to pre-populate the items underneath it based on what it was able to find in this prototype lesson. So there's a lecture area, there's chapter 1, assignment, quiz, just very generically the way I have it set up here for this demonstration. But you'll see what that translates to. So permissions have been remapped. Okay. So, as you can see, it created these containers in a consistent way that matches with the first layer here. So it skipped the lesson 1 because it knows I'm creating this off of a prototype lesson. And then it also skipped, you see there's no intro here. So it only takes the second level of this item. So lesson 1, and then if I would have put 5 or 6 items in here, then you would see 5 or 6 items underneath each one of these. So week 1, week 2, week 3, you'll see they're the same. It also has some minor artificial intelligence. So even though this wasn't tagged as a lecture, it attempts to, it sees the word lecture, and so, I kind of force-fed it an easy one with lecture. But you can see this one's chapter 1. I don't have the word reading or anything in there. This just says chapter 1 design practices, but yet it knows that this is a reading, just based on the way, chapter is commonly used for describing a reading, things like that. Assignment and quiz were also auto-tagged, if you will, to those values. So you can see this is what we're deeming hyper-prototyping. You could lay out a prototype lesson for your course and then sit down with a faculty member and say, okay, well, we're going to run this next semester. It's 16 weeks long. Semester starts on this date, ends on this date. Let's see what the workload would be like for the student in this scenario and see if that's really reasonable. In the future, we're also going to have ways of showcasing points and number of assignments and things so that you can get a feel for that too.